How's it going, Essex County College family? Joe Ott from Student Life and Activities here. We're pleased to bring you a new program called Staff Spotlight. Now, this program is designed to shine a little bit of light on all the wonderful and unbelievably talented staff we have here at Essex County College, some of whom you may know, some of whom you may never have known because you didn't go to their campus or you never stepped foot on the floor that they work on. But we have an unbelievable amount of very talented staff at this institution. And this program will hopefully shed some light on what they do here at the college and what they can do for you. Today, I have the distinct pleasure of chatting with my dear friend and beloved colleague, Kenya Wilson. Kenya, how are you doing today?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for being on the show today. We really appreciate you being a part of the Staff Spotlight. Now, I've worked with you in the past. We've collaborated on a myriad of different things, whether it's new student orientation or barbecues or what have you, or voting. We've done a lot over the years, and you are an asset to the college. You go above and beyond. You do way more than your job description entails, and you're always there for our students. I thought you would be a perfect first example of our Staff Spotlight.
Thank you.
So we want to start off our interview today by asking you, what year did you come to start working at Essex County College?
Start working, I believe it was about 1995. I started out as a student of Essex County College. And my first job with Essex County College was as a work study under Phil Infante.
Okay, wow. So you started as a student and then you began working here. Okay.
Yes.
And what were you doing before you came to ECC, work-wise?
I was working for a marketing company.
Okay, marketing education seems like a pretty logical jump.
Remember, not remember, but I was just out of high school, maybe out of high school for a year or two, before I decided to go back to school and get a degree.
Excellent. Awesome. And what was it, or who was it that brought you to Essex? Was it, there's always an impetus. So how did you end up on the doorstep here?
Well, my grandfather was a very educated man. And it was just, you had to go to college back in those days. There was no ifs, ands, but you had to go to college. And Essex was maybe a block or two away from where I was working at the time. So it was like, okay, I have to go to college. Essex seemed like the most logical and most inexpensive course of action at that time for me.
Okay. So you were living in the area, or you were in the same county?
I lived in Orange at the time, but I worked on One Park Place in Newark.
Okay. All right. So when you first came to Essex then in the 90s, what department did you begin with? Because you're with Enrollment Services now, but that's not where you started, right?
No, I originally started once again under Dr. Phil Infante in the non-credit area.
In non-credit. So when you were in non-credit, how did you serve our students during that time?
Well, we were only basically working with non-credits at that time, was either senior citizens or it was people who were trying to enrich their life. They were changing or rebranding themselves at the time. So they were more focused on enrichment courses like Microsoft Word, Excel. Now it just seemed like everyone knows it. But if we look back in the 90s, stuff like Microsoft Excel and Word and PowerPoint was a hot thing. So at that time, we really worked with adult students who didn't want to go into a 4-year or 2-year degrees. They wanted something quick, and the non-credit was the way to go. At that time, also, we were offering a lot of senior program courses. So we had a lot of senior citizens at that time. So that was generally our population, or the population I dealt with during the early 90s.
Okay, wow. Excellent. Now, did you go to Enrollment Services right after continuing it, or did you potentially work in a different department before where you are now?
No, it was straight from non-credit into credit. While I was working under Mr. Infante, there was a position in the enrollment, it was called admissions office back then, that opened up, and he sort of encouraged me to apply for it. So the transition was straight from non-credit into credit.
That's just purely a cosmetic question. Some colleges call the department admissions, some colleges call it enrollment services. Which do you prefer? Which do you think is more telling of the department?
I prefer enrollment only because admissions alludes to the idea of just an application for me. Whereas when we think about enrollment, it's that one word seems to encompass a lot more than just the application process. When we're looking at testing, we're looking at registration, we're looking at college transcripts, more than just the actual admissions application.
Gotcha. And so after you were done with continuing ed, what year was that you moved on to enrollment services?
1997,
So you,
August of 1997 specifically.
whoa. So you've been with enrollment for a while now.
Yes, I have, Joe.
So that means that you tend to probably like your role in the department and in the institution since you've been in enrollment services for a long time. How do you serve our students now?
As assistant director of enrollment services, I sort of do a lot of different things, from admissions to testing to registration. If our coordinator needs to help with transcript evals, I help there. If I need to fill in for our director in her absence, I do that as well. So it's a plethora of things that I do in terms of enrollment. It's where you're needed. In terms of making sure that we stay abreast of our online system, student first, the goals of the college, the making sure that we stay abreast of the mission and that we adhere to the missions of the college as well.
Wow. So yeah, enrollment services is covers a lot of ground. And when I think of the front lines of who helps our students, who serves our students the most, enrollment is always the first to come to mind because you guys are responsible for a lot of different things. You help students register, testing. There's so many core principles about education that revolve around enrollment services. So the department is highly valued. You're highly valued by the students, by me, and by like a million other people. I know that's right, right? Hello.
Love you, Joe.
Love you. So check this one out. What's the best piece of advice that you could give to incoming, outgoing, current students, to the Essex County College student, whether they're in Newark or West Caldwell? What is the best piece of advice that you would give them?
Don't lose focus. When we look at the challenges that we're facing right now in general with the pandemic, losing hope is easy. It's the easy course of action for some, because they're facing with so many other different trials and issues and life circumstances, and uncertainties during these times. But I think one of the best things that we can do for ourselves is not lose focus of our end goal. What we started out thinking or hoping or desiring to accomplish, understanding we may be at a pause, but it's not a stop. That Essex County College in general has been a beacon for almost 70 years, Joe. It has been bridging gaps in the lives of people for almost 70 years. We've been sitting in out of our community, helping our students. So I'll encourage any student, whether they're leaving Essex or coming into Essex, to remember what their goals were at the start, and to not lose focus of that. Because as long as they can stay focused on whatever that end goal they'll persevere. That's the most important thing, is not to lose focus, not to lose hope. Understand that there are people here waiting to assist and help, but they cannot lose any focus or hope.
Spoken from one of the truest, realest, and most honest voices that we have here at the college. Do not lose focus. Do not lose hope. Thank you, Kenya. Those words will really resonate with our students, and I know they resonate with myself as well.
One of the things I would like for our students really to completely understand is that Essex as an institution is here. Because I asked a question to one of the deans, I said, are we marketing? Are we letting people know that although the doors are closed, that we are still touchable? They can still reach out to us if they need help. Like we get the emails about the food pantries and all that good stuff, but many of our students don't check their Essex email. We are here with resources for them. You know, they just have to reach out to us, but we are here.
Now, let me ask you this. We're obviously filming this during the COVID-19 pandemic, so virtually all schools have switched to online learning, and ours is no different. Now, we've had staggered in-person scheduling for each different department that exists within the college, so that means that while we have switched to online only, at least a couple members from each department are available on campus to do certain tasks and things like that. What are some ways that students can get in touch with you, Kenya, online, or is there another way?
Right now, or in general, Essex County College, if you go to the Essex website in general, there is an icon that gives all our students information on how to contact departments during this pandemic. But most students who are familiar with Enrollment Services, if they go to the directory, all of our emails are there, whether we're working remotely or whether we're working on campus. If they email us, they will be able to get us. Me specifically, I'm even checking my emails on Saturdays and Sundays because I'm also an adjunct professor. So I'm always checking my email, whether I'm on vacation or not. But like I said earlier, one of the things that I really, really, really want our students to get a grasp of in this difficult time is that if they go through that directory, if they go to that phone list that's on the Essex website under COVID-19, they will get somebody. Even if it's for something general like admissions or if it's something more personal and they need resources, there is a number, there is an email address available on that sheet where they'll be able to contact someone.
Excellent. So now we just learned that Miss Wilson is not only in the Enrollment Services department, she's also an adjunct professor. So let me ask you this, Miss Wilson. What has online teaching been like for you during this semester that we've spent virtual?
Well, this was really the first semester for me that I actually felt like I was teaching a completely online class. Normally, I teach either a traditional course or hybrid. The hybrid course is you need some in the classroom, some online. So it wasn't totally difficult for me to transition my students to completely online, but it was a little challenging with students who started out traditionally, but now had to learn the online way of doing stuff. But once again, we are here as a resource. So I felt like it was my job to make sure that I guided my students through the remaining of the semester. I felt like I was chanting "No Child Left Behind" to get my students through the semester, and I'm pretty proud of them. Those traditional students, they were faced with a lot of challenges because once again, many of them did not sign up for online. So it was my job to guide them through, and we got through it. But it was a little challenging for my traditional ones.
So that was gonna be my next question. So during the semester, did you have at least a couple students that were, privately asking you, for help? Hey, this is unclear, this is confusing, or I'm unsure on how to use the online platform. Was that a common thing?
Absolutely, absolutely. One of the things that helped me out with my traditional students, though, was I always give videos to my class for review, and I've always posted them into Moodle. So from the start of the semester, they know at one point or another you have to go to Moodle to check to watch this video. So they knew what Moodle was, they knew how to access it. But when it came time to actually having to do tests or quizzes or upload papers, it was a little challenging, but they got through it. And for those students who had major difficulties, email me your paper. I think that it was very important as a professor to compromise, especially with the students who didn't sign up for online.
I know I speak on behalf of the students when I say I'm sure they appreciate you and they hope that all professors are like you as well.
I appreciated them as well.
We want to thank you all for tuning in to Essex County College Staff Spotlight. We want to thank our special guest, Miss Kenya Wilson from Enrollment Services, for joining us today. Thank you, for coming, Miss Wilson.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me, Joe.
Absolutely. And we want to remind you all that there's a lot of people working hard for you at Essex County College right now. Even if you can't see us, know that we are here. We are here for you. And we will be here when things open back up and hopefully things get back to normal. And we're ready to help you get to where you got to be. Take it easy. Peace, fam.